all that is totally worth it. All that sacrifice of being tired and rained on and breaking down is, you're living life. You know, you're not behind a desk. There's so much more to life than that, you know, and it's out there on the road, wherever, you know, you can find it. Little town you pull up in, these guys help you fix your bike and get you a gig. You know, that's awesome. Like, you're not gonna do that at home. My name is Joe Popp, and in 2017, I took a 48-state tour as a singer-songwriter on a motorcycle. My goal was to play music in the 48 continental United States. And to my knowledge, no one has ever done 48 states on a motorcycle with a guitar, so I'm like, I'm gonna be the first guy to do this. You know, almost in a braggadocious kind of way. You know, like, let me be the first. I started planning the trip in October of 2014, and I mean, it was very nebulous for a long time. I couldn't afford a hotel every single night, so I kind of had a leapfrog between people that I knew, so I would have a place to stay for a cheap amount of money. But I came up with this map that pretty much stayed the same, and it's roughly almost exactly 16,000 miles. And I did a lot of side trips and all that, but when all was said and done, the odometer was about 16,000 miles for the entire trip. So the only thing I was worried about is breaking down like really bad in the middle of nowhere and not being able to get back with my stuff. But I always have plans. I have a UPS account. I could ship everything back, take the plates off the bike, leave it in the desert, you know, whatever. Like, I never felt like I was backed up against the wall. Now with the technology that's available with Google and Google Docs and Google Spreadsheets, and you know, I had a packing list, and it's funny, the first time I did a cross-country tour in 2012, I didn't use any of these tools, and I didn't bring any t-shirts at all. I packed, and I'm like, hey, here's my bags all packed up, and it turned out I didn't have any shirts, so I had to buy t-shirts along the way across the country. So, but by the time I got to this tour in 2014 and planning it up to 2017, I felt like I was ready to go. I felt very confident about that. I actually did a loop. I started at my parents' house in St. Augustine, Florida, and I did like a small loop, like a 3,000-mile loop to test everything. And I really pretty much nailed it. Like, I did subtract a couple of things, but between the camera gear, the audio gear, and the clothes, and the guitar, and the music stuff I needed, I think I got very lucky on the balance. I think a lot of the joy from the trip came from meeting people or staying with people that I knew. I had people that found my show online and were like, please come stay with us. We don't know who you are, but we like what you're doing. We have an air mattress or a spare room or a camper trailer or whatever. You're welcome to stay with us. We'll feed you. And that was probably the most beautiful part of the trip. Was that the kindness of strangers was just unbelievable. It was a beautiful experience. Just like, people honestly didn't even know who I was, other than seeing me on Facebook or finding my YouTube channel and welcoming it into their homes. Because I think a lot of people are like, wow, I wish I could do that. So there was a lot of this people living through me vicariously and following me because they don't have the time off to do that, or the money, or a lot of issues. So I was happy to give that to people, you know, just a view of a guy rolling around the country. There were a lot of times where I was both emotionally and physically drained, and it actually happened a lot quicker than I thought it would. Like, the toll of just driving very far and trying to set everything up. Like, it's not just the physical pressure, but it's like, am I getting enough footage? Should I be filming this? Why am I not filming this? Am I going to make it to the next town without breaking down? It just kind of stacked up on me in New Orleans. My hotel room was the most awful, worst place I've ever stayed in my life. It was like just a horrible hotel, like rusty pipes, a cracked mirror, the bathtub leaked, the air conditioner barely worked. It was just really awful. But again, I was on a budget. And so all those things combined with the not being able to perform the way I wanted to, and having a crappy hotel room, you know, that just put me in a place of despair, you know. And I don't think there was any time I wanted to turn around and go home, though. That's just not what I do. I finish things. It might take me a while, but I'll get through somehow. I wrote a lot of music on the road, more than I thought I would. Some of it was pretty bad, like Here I Am at a Waterfall, you know, like some of it wasn't good, but some of it was pretty inspired by the trip, and some of the songs I'll end up actually recording. You know, so much of it was just topical, you know, it was time and place. And that was sort of an interesting thing for me because I've never really done that. I've wrote songs that have, you know, vignette style or just narrative and are long lasting to me, but some of these songs were just written spur of the moment and I'll never play them again, most of them. There were several instances where I felt like this is why I'm doing it, you know. There was one, I had a teacher in high school and he's like, come stay with me. And we played guitar that we hadn't played in like 35 years, you know, since high school. And that was amazing. I was in Missouri and the guy took me to this, the most amazing guitar shop ever. Let me hold a $1 million Flying V Gibson, you know, like, and he took me on a private tour. One of the coolest moments, I was in North Dakota at a park and I saw a buffalo, and the buffalo basically was about 5 feet from me. I could have stuck out my hand and touched the buffalo. So I backed away and I filmed the buffalo for a little while, but seeing this enormous creature just walking by was like, that's not happening in New Jersey. That was a really cool part. The combination of seeing people I haven't seen, meeting people, and experiencing nature and just out in the wilderness, just anything can happen. One of my final stop on the tour was the eclipse in South Carolina, the full eclipse. And I was right on the path of the best, longest place you could see the eclipse. So I pulled off the road into a park and I laid on my back, you know, and that was a beautiful way to end the tour with this miraculous, unbelievable event. It was just such a cool experience, you know, having stuff like that happen. And just knowing that everywhere in this country there's a little something like that that's just incredible. Like, it's a long road and you got to figure out how to get from A to B, you know, and if a 52-year-old guy can do it, pretty much anybody can do it. There's like amazing stuff everywhere. I have a website, poppoveramerica.com, and all my social media stuff is Popp Over America /Popp Over America, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. And it's POPP, 2 Ps, Popp Over America.